Okay, what's up, everybody? I'm Connor, and this is Palmer.
Hello.
And we started a Pseudoscience, a whole podcast on it for a class we're taking at UF.
That is correct.
Yep.
What are we going to be talking about today?
Our first topic would be about mainly like the polygraph and eyewitness reliability in general, and
Tends to be very low.
Huh?
Tends to be very low.
Yeah, definitely. Just the faulty science that is in the criminal justice system and the law system, and basically the dangers of what pseudoscience can become.
And for those people who are not familiar with pseudoscience,
it's just like faulty. It's like something that acts like science when it's not really based on empirical evidence, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically, so we're gonna start off with basically the polygraph, and it's just it's people say it's the lie detector, and actually, yeah,
but not really. If I remember correctly, 40%. That's the accuracy of the polygraph.
It's really bad. It's like
Worse
about like a coin flip.
Yeah, worse than chance.
I mean, and people say it's like a lie detector. It's not. It's just like it senses your reaction. So if you sweat a lot, like it kind of contributes to this like false positive of
Right.
just, it's so inaccurate. And the scary part is, you know, when the FBI, I believe they still use this when they're
Do they
actually,
really?
Yeah. So like when you go to apply to a job, or if you're looking to get promoted, I guess within the ranks, they actually do a polygraph, and they're like, and they ask you, and they, I don't know if they interrogate you, but they ask you like questions like about your past.
That's
about like
really intriguing.
your performance, and like it's so weird. Like,
You think that the FBI would be up to like standards on
yeah, it's
this?
like, why are you doing this when it's like it's not accurate? You don't know what's going on, you know.
Yeah. And it measures heart rate, right? Heart rate and perspiration,
Yeah, there's like,
things like
it's
that.
basically how you're feeling, like your reactions, like definitely heart rate. But like the funny part is like you could actually, there's ways that people train to beat the polygraph.
Yeah.
So like one of the classic ways is like to put a tack in your shoe,
Mm-hmm.
like when they ask you a question and have like intense pain. I don't know the actual like in depth, but like that's one of the tactics.
Right.
One of them is like, there's like really in depth where you like, I guess, restrict your breathing or whatever. I don't know, but there's like ways, like strategies to beat the polygraph.
If you steady your breathing, you could steady your heart rate.
Yeah. Like you could somehow, I don't know how like good people are, but like the most
Might take
common
some
one
practice.
was like the tack, and the like how you could basically like feel pain, and like it just creates this basically false positive on it.
Personally, I would just be absolutely 100% nervous just being interrogated.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Well,
anybody
that's one of
asking
the,
a
that's
question-
actually a good point, because that's one of the like the things that contributes to like false confessions.
Yeah.
Like people are already naturally nervous, and like when you put them up to a lie detector and you don't really know that it's kind of like the lie detector is not really that accurate, you're kind of nervous. And when people like police are interviewing you, like that's very nervous. I'd be nervous if a cop was like, and if it's like a high profile crime, then yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be
and
very
especially
worried.
if you're in there and you know that they're not great at detecting lies, and you think,
Right.
hey, this is going to give a false positive, and they're going to think that I'm lying, and then I become more nervous, and then they'll think that I'm lying, and then I'm convicted and sent to prison for the rest of my life.
Absolutely, yeah. But like, and that actually raises a point about lie detection itself. People think that like police officers and FBI like investigators are good at detecting lies, and there's this whole thing where it's like you're looking up to the right and to the right. That's a
I was
lie.
just about to mention that, yeah.
It's not really that easy to detect lies, and they've done studies.
You're more likely, when somebody's lying, they're more likely to look you in the eye to see,
Right.
to see
But
if you believe it.
It's so hard to like, first off, it's hard to test, like, you know, how good is someone at detecting these lies, but like, it's just hard to be a lie detector. And they've done studies where it's like, they've compared like, the average person to like a police officer, and it's like, it's like the police officers are like 53, I don't know the exact number, but it's like 53%.
Wow.
It's like, so it's not that much better than a coin flip. You're just guessing at that point, right?
It's pretty much like the difference between a placebo and the actual drug.
Right, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point, yeah. It's like, there's not that much of a difference. It should be like, if you're really good at detecting lies, shouldn't it be like, what, 90%? 95 maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
But like, if it was going to be, you know, admissible in court, it should be 100%, right? And that's kind of what,
True.
yeah, that's kind of what, the pseudoscience, the dangers of pseudoscience is because polygraphs actually, I believe they are admissible in court, but both sides would have to agree, which would never happen in a court case. I heard Ken say that it was not admissible, but I'll have to look at this later, but I'm pretty sure both sides have to agree in some, I don't know which jurisdiction this is, but, which would never happen because like the prosecution would be really paranoid about like someone cheating the test because it's been cheated before.
Yeah. So many wrongful convictions. Have you ever heard of the book The Innocent Man?
No, I have not.
Okay. That book, if you want to be extremely aggravated for a couple hours, sit down and read that book because it's about this man who is wrongly convicted for a murder that he didn't commit, but somebody that was at the scene, at the club before this woman went home, said that they saw this man, the man who was convicted, at the club arguing with this woman heatedly, in a heated argument outside the club when she was in her car. But he wasn't even there. He was at home. So even though he had, evidence for this, they had this eyewitness testimony that was completely 100% wrong. And they just pretty much tricked him into giving a dream confession.
Wow.
Yeah. So they said like they would lead him into confessing about this with different kinds of words like, you were there, tell him that he was there and everything.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
He was on death row he was in prison for 11 years.
And he was on death row?
On death row. He was about to be executed. And then
that's insane.
They finally proved that he was innocent. And
so they actually got him out?
Yeah, they got the guy.
Do you know if it was like DNA evidence? It probably was.
I think they had DNA evidence. Did they? I don't actually remember. I don't think you can hold me to anything that I'm saying.
No, it's fine.
Memories are so flawed.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, and lives are ruined over just this faulty science and this like, they didn't really test. And to this day, eyewitness testimony is kind of unreliable. And it's like that game you played as a kid, like Telephone.
I hated that game. I hated that game so much.
Were you really bad at it?
No. You know what? I don't need this. But every single time that I would play that game with anybody, it wouldn't, normally in classroom settings because that's not really a game that you play for fun.
Right.
For my childhood anyway. Yeah. But there would be this one kid who decided that he wanted to be hysterical and change it entirely on purpose.
Oh, God.
So it was never accurate because there was one kid
rigged.
that just hated everybody else.
But like, yeah, I mean, even if you played Telephone legit, like it sucks. Like you're not good at it. Like,
so you play it legitimately without somebody who just wants to.
I don't even know, I guess, but like, I mean, you just cannot remember what people tell you. You're like, the human brain, we're not like, there's this fallacy where it's like our memory is like a video recorder. Like it just records and it's like, that's kind of a logical fallacy there because it's not at all like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, all the research has shown, we're not really that, great at memory at what people think.
Much better at capturing the gist.
And and it's like such a big problem now in the criminal justice system. The number one conviction or the number one factor contributing to wrongful convictions are like just faulty eyewitness testimony. Yeah. And a lot of times what these guys are convicted on, it's only the eyewitness testimony and nothing else. There's not even science.
Really?
Yeah,
nothing to back them up except for eyewitness testimony.
Yeah, it's just only eyewitness testimony, and people have gone to jail and served served a lot of time just based off this faulty science, and it needs reform. That's I think the gist of it. It needs Definitely. A lot of reform, and there's some ways you can make it better, but I don't know how you could totally solve the issue. But a lot of people, you ask a lot of people around that about the reliability of eyewitness testimony. And a lot of jurors think this. They kind of hold it to the same standard as DNA. Like it's as credible as DNA, which is totally false,
No, absolutely not. There's the video. In one of my classes, they showed a video of a man who was infiltrating a woman's home. So it was just to show this, where the guy's in there, and it kind of comes in and it shows that he's outside. I think he's just through a pane of glass kind of thing, on a balcony maybe. But you know what? This is probably 100% wrong because I have no idea. Mm-hmm. I'm just kind of saying what I kind of remember.
Keep going.
So
keep going.
He comes inside. He comes through the living room or something some kind of room, some kind of sitting room, and he comes through, and you kind of get a sort of a close-up on him, and he walks away. But it doesn't last for, too long. Kind of like what you would see if you were at a crime scene. And then you go to this, after there's a page, and it has a lineup. Which person was the intruder? And he's not there, of course.
Right.
Because that's kind of like what they do.
But was that an option though?
No, that wasn't an option. And it was actually, when she showed it, it was kind of, I think it was the actual, the page was kind of flawed because it was one hyperlink with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on it. So you could tell it was all to the same link.
There's like so many things that could go wrong with like just not even interrogate, like just like questioning the victim that like saw the crime, or so like a person that saw the crime. There's investigator bias where like you bring them a lineup and like, I don't know, they exert their bias on you, and like there's so many things that could go wrong. And
like, which of these people is the man that you saw?
Yeah, and there's they'll do like very subtle things where it's like they want you to go in a certain direction. Yeah. But
you have to remind them that he might not be in the lineup.
Yeah, and I'm not like knocking the police or anything. This is kind of, a lot of this is unconscious, just things that they do. As police officers, they like to find the perpetrator. But
So a similar thing for this, they're interviewing tactics. Have you heard of the cognitive interview?
Yes, I've heard of that. Yeah, I love that.
That's the cognitive interview. It pretty much eliminates all of that, like all of the leading questions, all the leading words that you give. Yeah. So it's pretty much the interviewer asks the interviewee to describe what happened, describe the scene, sort of, and you just let them talk. Just let them talk. Don't interrupt until they're finished talking, and then you can go into specifics. But it's only used in the UK as far as I am aware right now. I don't know, but interviewers for the interrogations, they'll ask questions as the person is talking, diverting their attention somewhere else, and just going back and forth to different spots. It throws them off track, makes their memory faulty.
Yeah, I think going back to what you said about like how the lineup of the guy.
Oh, okay.
Like what's interesting about that is how it said there was no possible, the possibility of the guy not being in the lineup.
Right.
And so like a lot of I think the numbers are that when you have that option, people will select that option more often when they're unsure. Probably, and so it actually can like statistically contributes to less wrongful convictions.
See, yeah, but people are very confident. People are very confident in themselves.
That's so true. I know what I saw. Like that's a common response, right?
When the video was shown, there was actually one of the people in the lineup was actually quite similar to the person that they showed in the video, but the girl next to me was very confident that it was someone that looked nothing like the actual perpetrator. Yeah. The perpetrator had short hair. It was kind of styled up a little bit in the front, tall, and the person that she thought it was short, light-haired. This guy was dark-haired. Was short, light-haired, and had long hair. And she was very sure that it was that guy. But complete opposite description of what the actual person looked like.
Yeah. It's just like your memory is like betraying you.
Yeah.
Like it's like working against you. It's like counterintuitive, but yeah, it happens a lot.
And for crimes that are committed with a gun, the people, when there's a gun involved, people are less likely to remember what the perpetrator looked like.
Yeah, it's I think it's called like weapons
focus? No.
It's either weapon focus. Yeah, it's like weapon focus, but like they prioritize the weapon instead of like the face.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you with a gun in your face? I'd be like, oh dang.
Yeah, you got a gun in your face. You're not just gonna be like, hey, what do you look like, man?
Yeah, let me just get your description. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that could go wrong in, eyewitness testimony. And one of the like other things was, there were lineups that happen like where it's all like, there's like 5 or 6 different candidates. And the problem with like, doing that, it becomes a multiple choice, like exam where it's like, okay, I know it's not this guy, but he looks kind of like the perpetrator. I'm just going to say it's him. And it's like this process of elimination. It's like, that's not really good. And I think they've they've switched it over, or I don't know about the jurisdictions about which police, but they switched it to like a different system where it's like one after the other. So it's like one at a time. I think they call it the sequential method. The other method is like simultaneous, where it's like everyone out, but it's like one after the other, and it's either like a yes or no, like is this the guy or is it not? And they have the option of like, okay, the perpetrator couldn't be in. There's a possibility he couldn't be in the lineup. So
I think that's good.
I think like
helps.
The studies, I don't really remember the exact numbers, but the studies have shown like there's less wrongful convictions with the sequential method, where it's just one after the other, and it's not like a huge lineup, and
instead of just usual suspect style.
Yeah, like you see in the movies all the time. Oh my god. So another potentially, dangerous thing is the anti-vaccine movement, which is kind of based on faulty science. It's like kind of this pseudoscience belief where people, a group of people believe vaccines will cause autism, and it's kind of like a dangerous belief because I believe measles was eliminated in like the year 2000, and it's like making a comeback. Oh. And so,
people died from that, from not vaccinating their children.
Yeah, it's kind of a just bad movement.
The guy who published the paper, it was almost entirely falsified, right? All his data?
Yeah, it was. And apparently like it didn't really replicate either. And
no. It's just that when the children were getting their vaccines, that was just about the same time that symptoms of autism started to arise. Yep. So they made this connection, and they were reinforced by this timing, and the vaccination actually had nothing to do with it. But then people died from not having their children vaccinated, and so the author of this article, of this experiment, he then wrote a book after his journal or his article was removed from the. I'm pretty sure it was removed just because it was 100% falsified. He then wrote a book about why he did what he did.
Oh, did he really?
He wrote a book, God. Why I did what I did, and this is what happened. This is everything. But then, people weren't really. He's like, I'll make it free.
Oh my god!
Just because I just ruined some people's lives.
Like people died, and it's like, I don't really blame the followers. Like I don't question their intelligence. Like this. And most of the followers are like, it happened to their children. So it's like this emotional thing where it's like, oh man, like, and if you see like something as the cause of that, it's like, you don't really think. And it's like kind of human nature to do that. And yeah, it's crazy.
They just want to help so that it doesn't happen for other people.
Yeah. But like, it goes back to like, this whole thing where it's like correlation does not mean causation. There might be other factors. So it's like
the third variable.
Yeah, there's like another variable that's affecting it, and it's like it's kind of human nature just to connect the dots, But yeah,
they recently funded a study about a $250,000 study, I believe it was, for thimerosal. They included thimerosal in the vaccinations,
right?
Which they took out of the vaccinations because of this publication. It wasn't actually doing anything. This guy he was paid by another company, a competitor for the vaccinations. And so they used thimerosal in this new study, and they spent like $250,000 on it on some type of primate. I can't remember the species. But, and they showed that nothing there's no effect. So the people that believe in this cause, the vaccinations causing autism, they now have actual evidence from their own study that shows that it didn't happen. Well, that wraps it up for this episode of Corrigible Minds. We're going to be publishing episodes weekly, so check back, and we'll see you then.
Yep. See you later, guys.